I was browsing Facebook Marketplace recently, as I often do, and this came up for free as part of a house clearance. This is a mid-century modern bureau. I think the maker is Jentique, and it has 3 problems which I'm hoping to sort out in this video. The finish is in rough shape, as is often the case with furniture of this age. Some quite heavy signs of use and wear. Secondly, it doesn't have a key, which means that ordinarily it would be difficult to open and close this door. And that brings us on to the third issue, which is that somebody's added this handle to the front, which really isn't in keeping with the design. So I'm looking forward to getting rid of this, and hopefully I'll be able to patch in a piece of veneer to make it look like this handle was never there. On the inside, originally these sections here would have had little pull-out drawers, places to store pens and things like that. Unfortunately, they are also missing. And if I thought that in future this is likely to be used as a writing desk, then it would be great to recreate some drawers here. But the chances of it being used for that are slim. These are more likely to be used as cocktail cabinets or just general storage nowadays. So I'm not going to waste any time on that. In the drawer, there's a bit of lining paper, which I'm going to get rid of. And in the cabinet at the bottom, there are some more signs of wear, lots of scratches on the shelves. First, I'm going to remove the fold down door, as I want to be able to work on that separately. And that turned out not to be very pleasant.
That's disgusting.
And I started working on the top using my card scraper, which is my preferred method for removing old finish. It's quicker and there's virtually no risk of going through the veneer when compared with sanding. And I use my carbide scrapers to get to the ends of the panels. I'll leave links below for the tools and finishes that I'm using in this video. Here's how that water stain on top looks. It's still pretty prominent, so I'm going to need to treat that. But first I can do some hand sanding with 100 followed by 120 grit to get rid of any last traces of the old finish and get a more consistent surface. I'm going to use some oxalic acid to use on the water stain. This stuff is hazardous, so you need to wear the correct PPE if you're going to use this. I pour a little into a cup and then add some hot water and give it a good mix up. And then I apply it liberally to the top. I reapplied it after a while until the stain disappeared, and then washed it with some clean water, and I set up a fan to get it to dry off quicker. I then did a final sanding with 120 followed by 240 grit, and the stain by this point had disappeared almost completely. Now onto the door, and I can get that ugly handle removed. It looks like this may have had more than one handle over the years. I got that scraped back too, and removed the brass key insert, which was just held in place with friction. And again I sanded the rest of the finish away. I had a piece of what I believe to be teak veneered plywood removed from an old piece of furniture, and I can use this to create a veneer patch to hide the damage left by the handle, as it should be a good match. So I installed a straight bit into the router, and I can reference from that plywood to set the cutting depth of the router bit. And then I can start lowering the bit into the surface of the door, aiming to route away all the material where the old screw holes are. I want it in a regular shape, which should help the new grain to blend better with the old. And then I applied some masking tape and did a rubbing with a pencil to create a template for the shape needed. Here I'm trying to find an area of the plywood that looks to be a good grain match, and I can cut away the area that I want to use at the bandsaw. And then here I'm making a few pencil marks to help me line up the grain as best as possible. It's never going to be a perfect match, but it's worth taking the time to align the grain as much as possible. And I added the template right where I wanted it. I can then carefully cut out the shape, staying just outside the line. And then I used the disc sander to remove the rest of the material right up to the line. On first attempt it didn't quite fit, so I used a chisel to get a good fit. And it took a few attempts, but then it fitted quite nicely. I didn't bother clamping it because it was such a good snug fit.
and on first impressions it looked pretty good. I then sanded away the old finish from the patch and got it sitting flush with the door, and this is when I realised I might have a problem, as the patch appeared to be a significantly different colour. I wiped on a coat of shellac just to seal it, as I wanted to get an idea of what the colour difference would be. And then I used a darker shellac to try to match the colour better, which kind of worked, but I wasn't sure if I was happy with the end result, so I'm going to come back to this later. In the meantime, I can get the rest of the finish removed from the panels that were in poor condition, and using a knife blade worked well on the edges. Removing finish from these handles was really awkward due to the shape, so I did most of it with the knife blade and tried to get as much of the inside as possible with sanding. And then a few coats of dark shellac to match the colour. These solid wood trim pieces at the front had a lot of knocks and bumps, but I want to leave all that character on the piece and just scrape away the old finish and refresh it. I don't want this piece to look like it just came out of the factory. I want it to look like an old piece of furniture that's been well cared for. The shelves on the inside had lots of scratches and scrapes, and wiping a fresh coat of shellac makes them disappear. After the first coat of shellac, I denibbed with some 400 grit wet and dry paper to keep things smooth. On the drawer front, side panels and the two cabinet doors at the bottom, the finish was actually in really good condition, so for those I'm just going to give them a light sanding with some 240 grit just to key the surface ready for a top coat. There's no point removing the old finish if it's still in good shape. I also cleaned up the brass on the key insert using some 600 grit wet and dry paper and just wet sanding it, and this just fits back in place with friction. So at this point I'm going to get all the dust and debris off the unit and get ready to apply a top coat. I set up my makeshift spray booth, which I have a video about by the way, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box. And I'm applying a water-based varnish which I've watered down by about 10% just to help it flow better. I also have a video about my spray setup which I'll leave a link to below in case you want to see the equipment that I use. Once that first coat is dry, I denibbed again with 400 grit. And then after wiping away the dust I applied a second coat. And you'll see here I'm using a light just to help me see that I've got good coverage. I'm using varnish here because it's more hard wearing than the shellac, so it offers good protection against moisture in case someone leaves a wet glass on it or whatever. And this is how it looks before I leave it to dry. So now back to that patch, and I decided to scrape off the finish as it just wasn't the right colour, and after trying out a few different wood stains that I had in my finishes cupboard onto some scraps of the same plywood off camera, I just couldn't seem to get a good colour match, and also the dark outline of the patch stood out far too much for my liking. So I thought I'd try something new, and I've never done this before, but I'm mixing up some acrylic paint to try and match the colour of the old finish. So I started applying a base coat of this orangey colour that I'd mixed up, and then I mixed up a brown colour so that I could paint on some of the darker colourings in the wood grain, and also a lighter mustard yellow kind of colour to add some of the highlights. And I just kept adding layers of different shades to try and match the surrounding wood grain. And once it was dry, I used a fine-tipped pen to draw in some of the grain lines, and a dark brown fine-tipped marker would have been best for this, but I don't have one, so I'm using black and then just kind of rubbing it off with my finger to help it blend in. Once everything was dry, I rubbed on a bit of shellac to see how it looked with finish on, and it looked okay but not great, so I kept touching it up, trying to make it look as realistic as I possibly could. And I kept tweaking the colour time and time again, trying to get it to match the surrounding wood. I tried applying a top coat of varnish, this time just using spray varnish for speed because it dries quickly, as I wanted to carry on working, but I still wasn't happy with the results. And as I keep working on this, trying to get it to blend in as best I can, the painted area is getting bigger and bigger. After a while, I realised something which I really should have noticed much sooner, which was that from some angles it looked too dark and from other angles it looked too light. And that's because the way the light catches wood grain plays quite a big part in what colour the wood appears to be to the eye. So no matter how accurate I got the colour from whatever perspective I was viewing it from, when I stepped back and looked at it from other angles, it just was not right. So then I decided I could do better than this, but I'd need to start all over again, so I scraped away the new finish and sanded again, which was kind of annoying, but I knew it'd be for the best. So I sealed it again with a couple of coats of shellac, and this time I decided to use paint again, but just to keep it to very small areas. And again, because of the way that light catches the wood, it's never going to look perfect. So for example, from this angle, you can see it looks too dark, and from this angle, it looks too light. But at least it's going to look as good as I can possibly make it look with the tools and finishes available to me. So I got another coat of varnish over the repair, and I left it there. There was also a hole to repair on the inside of the door, and I'm going to use the closest colour matching hard wax stick that I have, which was a pretty good match for this sapele veneer on the inside of the door. I'm not going to bother inlaying any veneer here because it's on the inside of the door. And then I can just scrape and wipe away the excess wax, and that looked okay, good enough for the inside anyway. And I can wipe on a coat of shellac to the inside of the doors just to refresh the finish. And for this I'm using a piece of cotton t-shirt wrapped around a piece of wadding just to create a swab, which works great for applying finishes like shellac.
So that's the work done, and now I just need a way of opening this door. If you look online, you'll find listings with keys like this, which I bought a few of and none of them fitted. So I ended up asking the members of a mid-century modern furniture group that I'm a member of on Facebook to see if anybody could help. And I want to say a massive thank you to a lady who has this exact piece of furniture, and she kindly went out and got another key cut and sent one to me. So let's see if it fits. So that's locked, and that's unlocked. Perfect. So what have I learned on this one? It was my first time using paint to try to imitate wood grain, and I found that it's quite an effective way to hide imperfections, but also that paint doesn't reflect light in the same way that wood grain does, which basically means that it's impossible to match the colour to the surrounding wood perfectly, and for that reason paint repairs should be limited to only very small areas. I did the best job I could with it, and it's important to remember that working in a workshop like this full of bright white LED lights is quite different to normal household lighting conditions. So once this bureau is indoors in its final home, wherever that might be, the repair is going to be much harder to spot, and hopefully it won't be noticeable. I'm just glad that I was able to get rid of that ugly handle that was on it and make it look somewhat more in keeping with how it would have looked originally. Plus I removed the water stains and all the scratches and wear around the handles, and I think it turned out pretty good. I'm going to list the bureau for sale on Facebook Marketplace now and try to find it a new home. I don't really make any money on projects like this because there's not really any profit to be had when you consider the amount of time that goes into a project like this, which by the way was somewhere between 1.5 and 2 days work in total. But I mainly did it because I thought it would make for a good video, and also it's nice to be able to keep a nice piece of furniture like this in use without it being coated in chalk paint or wallpaper, which too often seems to be the case. Please subscribe to my channel for more weekly woodworking videos if you'd like to help support the channel, plus get early access to my videos, exclusive content like the videos on screen now, free project plans and cut lists, and a name credit at the end of my videos. You'll find links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description box below. Thanks for watching.